Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness.
Yes. So that is the voice of Meredith, my beautiful and amazing wife.
Hello.
Yes. So today's podcast is 2064. 2,000 of these things. Holy
It's a
cats.
lot, and
Yes.
64 more of them.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep growing. So we're talking about your contest prep, and we're coming into 17 weeks out.
Whoop whoop.
Woot woot. So we just survived a week in Miami.
Indeed, survived.
Yes. So we go down to Miami for your executive MBA, part
Correct.
of Northwestern University at the Kellogg School of Management. Yes, there we go.
Yep.
Got all that correct.
Yeah.
So this week was a little bit longer week, though, right?
It was 2.5 days longer.
Yes. Now, why is that?
No, 3 days. 3 days longer.
3 days.
Why is that?
Yeah, why was it a longer week? I mean, I know, but for the listeners.
They call it intensive week. So we had an intensive week to kick off year one. And now, technically, this was the end of year one, but it's kicking off year two.
There you
So
go.
we have 1 year under our belts, and we covered 2 courses in 1 week.
Yeah, just for fun conversational.
Yeah.
What were the 2 courses?
Marketing strategy
Ooh.
and like principles or foundation of strategy.
Yes. That's fun stuff. I actually read the
It was
marketing
really
book.
fun. You did.
Yes, which is awesome.
Yeah. And then we told the professor you read the book.
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, did you need to fall asleep?"
Yeah. So very humble. Very
Yeah.
good.
It was
Yes.
very good.
Yeah. So I'm happy.
Phenomenal classes, but a lot of work.
Yeah.
Very tired.
Yes. So since it is contest prep, what did you do for food during the week?
I did my normal RX bars, 2 RX bars, and a handful of fruit in the morning.
Yep. So we normally do that when we're in Miami.
Every morning. I had, during class time, because we were in class all day,
Yes.
so there was at one point where I had 3 part skim cheese sticks, and there was
Yeah.
another part I had 1 bobo and 1 core power.
Mm-hmm.
If there were snacks out and I was hungry, I grabbed some kiwi was out one day.
Oh,
It
nice.
was really good.
Kiwi's delicious.
Delicious.
Yes.
But then it was regular lunch, whatever they had, protein and veggie. And then if the protein or rice wasn't that great for whatever reason that day, I just made a really big salad.
Yeah.
But it was a little harder to find protein this time.
Yeah. Why? In what way for the listener? How was it harder to find protein?
Either what it was cooked in, I didn't like it, or it was really rare. It's been a year. I've never had dry chicken,
Yeah.
but it was dry and really hard to eat. So another one, I grabbed a bunch of rice because we played soccer.
Yeah. Played some
And-
soccer.
Got back and really needed carbs, so I didn't feel like I was going to throw up. And then I
Yes.
grabbed a plate full of rice, and as I was eating it, I said, "Oh my God, this has rosemary all in it."
Yeah, and you're not
I
a big
don't-
fan of rosemary.
I'm not a fan of rosemary,
No.
so that was a little hard to
Yes.
stomach.
And you're celiac, so
Yeah.
everything has to be gluten free.
Yeah, so
So
that's
sometimes
always
if there's
dancing around that.
additives on the meats, like sauces and stuff, we have to be a little careful of. But they're awesome in Miami. Kellogg will cook you some extra chicken plain.
Yeah, they're so sweet.
So they're very adaptive and very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so it really was the standard stuff. One night we went to Indian food.
Ooh, yeah, that was delicious.
So we did one assignment, and then we went for dinner, and then went back to work and finished the second assignment.
So what did you eat at an Indian restaurant that allowed you to stay on your diet?
I'd have to ask my classmate what everything was. I know one was a spicy chicken of some kind.
Yep.
And I think that's all you call it, spicy chicken. Plain white rice, which
Yeah.
was terrific.
And it's totally fine on a diet. That's
Chicken
okay.
tikka masala. Yeah, the rice was great. Tikka masala. I didn't venture, I couldn't have any of the naan because of celiac and some other things.
Yeah.
But all I needed was meat and rice. I was happy.
Yeah, and pretty much every restaurant has that.
Delicious. It's delicious.
Except for maybe a vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
Not going to have the meat, but
Yeah. Then some folks were surprised I was eating rice for some reason.
yeah, and carbs are totally allowed, and there's nothing wrong with carbs when you're dieting.
Yeah.
They've done enough studies now to prove that carbs don't make you fat.
Yeah.
Excessive food of any kind will, could contribute to that. But
Yeah.
just eating carbs, the fact you ate a grain of rice doesn't mean Like, we can't step on stage in 17 weeks.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So it was basically like the status quo of what there was only rarely a couple nights. Mainly, it was also really long nights, but just having like an extra snack in the room, an extra core power, extra bobo.
Well, we talked about that in last week's podcast. How are we going to handle the longer days?
True.
And we talked about how our calorie count and normal foods are set up for our normal schedule.
Yeah.
So if you're awake for longer, it would make sense then that you're burning more calories. So you'd add a little more food. And how we did that was a core power is really high in protein. It's going to have definitely some carbs in it, but it's mostly a predominant like protein-rich food item. So if you're going to eat a little extra, you eat a little bit of foods that fit your normal macro percentage.
Right.
So I'm not going to eat extra of like crappy sugary food just because I get to eat a little extra. I'm going to keep the similar macronutrient percentage that I would typically have, just add a little extra calories to it.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat it. So.
Yeah.
But it worked out okay. We'll see tomorrow. I weigh in tomorrow morning.
Yes,
right?
So that'll be fun to see kind of what happened over the week. Yeah. How are you feeling from last Monday to now Sunday night? Like, are you feeling like it was a successful week? Do you feel any heavier? Do you feel like how are you coming out of it? Do you feel like you did a good job?
Interesting. I do feel like I did a good job. I feel like if anything, I underate some. So I know I have to be mindful of that. I can't do that too long, otherwise it'll jack up my metabolism. So eating a little less, but overall I stuck to what I should have been eating really well. So I think I did a great job.
Yeah.
I'm also happy I really put myself out there and got on a soccer field.
Yeah.
And just sprinted. Felt that the next day.
I'm sure.
And we made it to the gym and got a really good leg workout.
Yeah, we freaking crushed it.
Because normally, which is like the 4 days, you can beat yourself up right before you go down, and it kind of carries you a little bit.
Yes, it does.
But this would have been a really long carry with the extra time.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a really good workout. We went to Ghost Gym in Miami. There was a couple little hiccups trying to fit any gym equipment company that makes equipment for somebody 5 foot tall up to like 6.5 foot tall. It is hard to get things that match correctly.
Right.
So they had a really good hack squat by Flex Fitness, which is an old school version, but it didn't fit your height.
Yeah, it was a good machine though.
It was very smooth. Like, I really enjoyed it when I got to use it for my workout.
Yeah, it was just like the fulcrum wasn't like in the right place. Like I felt a little off.
Yes. So we found the leg press, which is a Nebula 35 degree, which is the old school.
Love the Nebula.
Yeah, like they found a gem there. So we had one of those in the older gym.
Yeah.
And we swapped it out for the Rogue unilateral, like the unilateral movement, because it has the same 35 degree angle. It's actually the same exact framework.
Yeah.
They basically copied it, but that we crushed it.
And then the plates we used on the leg press, were those Eleiko? The silver ones?
They had.
Are those custom?
They would have been like they were a Eleiko and a mix of another company, which I can't remember. It's called HANSUI. I don't know how to pronounce it. Hansui.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're powerlifting plates. So Ghost makes powerlifting equipment.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure if the silver was the Ghost plates or
yes.
not.
Yeah, they were. They're. It's kind of fun. Is the newer style of competition plates for powerlifting are designed very thin, but the older style would be more like what we consider like a deep dish.
Yeah, I like that.
But then when people started being able to deadlift, 900,000 pounds, you can't fit all the deep dish plates on there.
Ones.
Yeah, so these were like the old school style of like powerlifting, like calibrated plates. So they have just an excess of them from that being their company's focus over all the years. So they use that, and the bodybuilding section is using basically like old school, pretty beautiful plates.
It was a lot of fun. They were really pretty.
Yeah, they're chrome plated, like they look
they're
slick.
slick.
Yes.
Slick looking plates.
Yeah. So on the leg press, we warmed up, and we started with a 45, and then we had fun. We did 10 reps, only rested 30 seconds, added some weight, 10 reps, 30 seconds, added weight. And I had to do that for
34.
How many sets? We did
34 sets.
The whole workout was 34 sets. Yeah, counting like the hip thrust.
Yeah. Oh. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So we did the leg press for a bajillion sets. Yeah, it was fun because you worked your way up, And we'll have a video of it on YouTube. People can see and Instagram. But you worked your way up in weight almost to where you're like dying. And then what I loved about it is you had like a 2-minute break, and you're like, well, like, is that it? And I'm like, what do you mean that's it? Like, you're almost dead. And then you're like, well, let's do something else.
I want to do more.
Yeah. So we ended up doing a drop set from the top weight.
It was fun.
So yeah, so we did a
lot of fun.
short rest pyramid scheme, like going up,
was fun.
and then we did a drop set coming back down out.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was really good. Then we did the booty builder
Yeah.
for a couple sets of 10
Yeah.
on
Which is
glute
different than
drive.
the one we have here.
Yeah,
I
we
had
have
to,
a
like,
Nautilus glute drive.
Yeah, I had to position myself kind of oddly, but once I like found the position, it was great.
Yeah, the booty builder hip thrust machine, the backrest does not pivot.
No,
the Nautilus glute drive, the backrest pivots with the person. So it's a little more comfortable in regards to you can be quote unquote, there's not out of position, but there's more leeway for what is the correct position.
Yeah.
When a pad doesn't rotate on a hip thrust, you have to have it pinpointed right in this right spot relative to your shoulder blades. So it's a little more finicky to try to find the right position on a booty builder version compared to the Nautilus glute drive.
Yeah, but we crushed it. It was good. Left felt like I was gonna get kind of nauseous, which was perfect.
You did a wonderful job. That was
It felt
awesome.
really good. I was like being in class and then study group like for so long. You're just you don't even get to really move that much.
Yeah.
So it felt really good to be able to go.
What was your step count per day?
Ooh, what was it?
It was around
4,000?
Yeah,
5,000?
it was around 5,000 actually.
It was around 5,000.
Yeah, so you still got like a decent amount of step count in, but just the mind-numbingness of sitting in the room a lot would make it, I think, increase the feeling that you didn't get to move.
Yeah.
And with the days being extended, it would feel like
the week was extended, the days were extended.
Yeah, because normally with Daisy, our cute little doggy, you get to go with morning walks, afternoon walks, all that stuff. So yeah, so you still did a decent steep step count. 5,000 is still pretty decent.
Yeah.
So then adding in healthy eating, and then the big fun workout at Ghost, you definitely still had a progressive week.
For sure.
For sure.
And we played soccer for about 30 minutes because
that was fun.
We were in traffic. It was a break between, like the team needed to, read the case, and I said, okay, if you're gonna read the case, I'm gonna go play soccer for 1 hour, and then I'll be back and we'll work.
Heck yeah.
Because Speechify, if anybody needs to read a lot of articles for any reasons, I know you coach a lot of doctors.
Yeah.
Speechify is great, so you just drop it in there, and it's like an audiobook. So it was nice to be able to use that time and run around for a bit. It just like mentally was so good.
Oh, good.
For
I'm
me.
glad. Yeah.
And I conquered the fear, the childhood, adolescent fear of I'm gonna get out and it like kickball. Ball comes at you, you swing and you miss. And
like Charlie Brown.
Laughed at. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hit a ball every time.
You
it
did
came.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were goalie.
Yeah, I was the goalie.
Picture this, folks. Rob was a goalie.
Yes. So 297-pound goalie.
So you were a wall in front of the goal.
It was fantastic. And then I'd laugh like I'd toss you the ball and you're like, no.
Yeah, no, stop it. Nepotism.
Yeah.
Stop. Yeah. Well, you're the only one open. That's because I'm not good. Don't give me the ball.
Heck no, that was
The
fun.
anxiety. Do I go this direction?
Yeah.
Oh, it was good. It was fun.
That was enjoyable.
And they're all like, they were all soccer players.
Yeah, which is fun.
I'm like, guys, thank you for tolerating me on the field. You know?
Chris almost kicked the ball through me. That dude he's got a powerful kick. Yeah.
He's got wheels on him.
Good for him. Yes.
Yeah. So it was fun.
And then the one thing we did want to touch on during the week was since you're dieting, and everyone in the class knows that, there are
for the
common...
most part.
Yeah, I'll say for the most part. Yeah. Because a lot of classmates listen to the podcast and we chit-chat and stuff. For the most part, people... If you were to talk to 10 people about like a diet for a bodybuilding show, I would assume that probably 10 out of 10 are going to not really know exactly what's included in that.
Hell no.
No. So typically what they think of is very, very restrictive eating.
Boiled chicken, green beans.
Yes. So therefore, you might not get invited to places, or people might not think to include someone who's dieting in social events.
Yeah.
So what was your experience with that this week?
Yeah. What did I call it? The assumption exclusion principle?
Yes.
Assumed exclusion principle.
Mm-hmm. Assumed exclusion.
And I heard folks talking about going to dinner, and I mean, we love Indian food.
Oh, that's
We
Indian
love
food's delicious.
Asian food, sushi,
Yeah.
Indian food. So they were talking about it, and I said, "Oh, when are you going?" I was like, "That sounds delicious." "Oh, you want to go? You can go." We didn't really think to invite you because we know you're dieting. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm 17 weeks away. Like, Indian food is meat and rice. Of course I can eat meat and rice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I didn't think that we would tempt you. I'm like, I'm not going to, like, go in my room and eat, like, a microwave bag of green beans. Like, it's just, it was interesting, and I very much appreciate that they didn't want to make me feel...
Yeah, it was all meant out of, like, positivity and support.
Always assume good intent, which
Yeah.
I really appreciated, but I was like, I don't want to miss that. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's good, and we even talked at the restaurant how you can make it work, and we can make it work, and
Yeah.
it was kind of like, oh, really? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a surprise. Yeah, and was it a podcast or 2 podcasts ago where some of the downsides of competing, one, people talk to you about the food you're eating. Like, they judge it.
Yes, yes.
Or they assume you're judging them. Like,
Yeah, the food police.
all the time.
Yeah,
Food
they apologize for what they're
I
eating. And
could
it's
give
like,
2 shits about what
Yes.
you're eating. I don't care. From a standpoint of, you look fine, you do active things. I know getting on stage isn't your goal.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe in balance in a diet. So if I see you eating peanut M&Ms, I'm okay with that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to come after anybody for what they're eating, because that would be so silly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like, we support people. So if they ask us, like, hey, if I'm trying to lose weight, should I eat these M&Ms? I'll be like, probably not.
Or eat them really early in the day.
Yeah,
and
or
then
like,
leaner
there's probably
protein.
cleaner options.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is every time I see somebody eating M&Ms, I'm not like, oh, that lazy piece of crap, you know? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
but that's unfortunate that people may have had that experience.
true.
You know, how often is it that people, like, they'll start a project, say a diet, and then unfortunately they become, like, kind of the self-righteous, like, look at me, look what I'm doing. And sometimes people behave that way.
And
that's
one of them.
unfortunate.
It's the people that talk about veganism. It's the people that talk about CrossFit. It's the people that go on rants about processes.
Or carnivore
foods.
diet now, like, that's the one too. Like, people think of carnivore diet, they have to tell you about it.
People just don't seem to be able to shut up. It drives me nuts. And I always go back to that podcast we listened to where it was like, or the interview, everybody's an expert in food, or everybody has an opinion, because everybody eats.
Yes.
No one's going to have an opinion about the best workout for downhill skiing training.
Because not
Because not everybody does that 3 times a day.
Exactly, yes.
But everybody eats.
Yeah.
And everybody has an opinion. Everybody
Yeah.
knows best.
That was Lane Norton.
I know. Oh, I keep
Yeah,
forgetting.
who,
that name.
like, his career is based around, like, in part, a very large, significant part, nutrition advice.
Mm-hmm.
And he even said, like, he doesn't like giving advice unless it's, like, a client, because people just argue with him, and he's like... He's like, it's very unlikely somebody's going to know more than I would.
Well, that's
So,
how we feel.
Yeah, so it's funny that people will argue with him.
No one's gonna know more. I'll say it.
Yeah.
I will say it.
Unless we meet Lane Norton. And then, like, I've actually
then-
met him before, but
Yeah.
he's actually very nice.
He's
yeah.
very nice human.
Yeah, I met him at a bodybuilding show.
But it's like, who did I like early in the program? I'm like, I'm not gonna just come preaching at somebody for what
Yeah.
they should do. They mentioned diet, and all of a sudden, I know exactly what you need to do,
Yeah.
and you need to do this, and I'll listen to other people give each other advice, and it all sounds fine if it worked for them. But there's a lot of flaws in some of the things, and I just keep my mouth shut until unless I hear something where it's, oh, no.
Like, that might actually hurt the person.
Like, that might hurt you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Can you do this one thing first? Because,
Or let's just, why don't I throw out a counter thought? Like, give you two things to think of.
Maybe get
Yeah.
some blood work done first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all of that to say, people think I'm the food police.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Eat what you want to eat. But if you're going to... If you don't want to eat something and then you do eat it and then you complain that you ate it, that's where I have a problem.
Yeah. That's usually then where we're like, yeah. But I think it's good for people to hear from a person who is dieting right now, you, that if they have someone in their life trying to lose weight and
lose fat, maybe.
Yeah, maybe lose fat, but most people think of it as lose weight.
Right.
So let's say, for example, that the hard part is the advice isn't always universal.
No,
meaning if somebody invites you and they're like, we're going out for ice cream, and you're like, well, I'm not really going to be able to fit ice cream in, but I can go and just be social. Right. So they would invite you, you would have fun.
Yeah.
But let's say that they have a friend who is kind of like a food addict, they're really struggling, they're finally on a diet kick, and they're like, well, should I really invite them?
Yeah.
And that's challenging because you don't want to enable poor behavior.
Yeah.
You're not sure if they even have the ability to say no. So that is challenging. So I would my recommendation would be other than in that moment, have a conversation with them and say, hey, if we go, if the friends and I go out in the next couple of weeks, would you want to come with us, or do you want us to plan some non-food events? Like, I think open communication is the key.
Over-communicate, because otherwise there's assumptions, right? Something, and you feel like, was that intended? And then you can have a very calm, trying to understand question, and still people get, like, super bent out of shape. So talking around that from a variety of different perspectives can be challenging.
Yes.
So I agree with you in that it's have a one-on-one conversation and say, hey, I'm just using me for an example, just for the sake of a story. I know your show's in November, and after classes at the end of the day, it's very food-based and restaurant-based, and to socialize with teams, cross-meeting teams, and are you okay to go? And, but also, like, in my mind, it kind of like throws me for a loop a little bit, because I was diagnosed, like, I've been celiac since I was hospitalized I was 17. I was either 17 or 18 years old.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And long short was, like, the Accutane I was on 5 years earlier.
Oh, yeah, that jacks you up.
And, I was lucky. I was lucky to make it out with only celiac being, like, turned on in my genetics. But, I mean, no one, when we go out to eat and I'm not on a diet, no one is, I'm sorry, I'm eating bread in front of you. Like, I can't do that. So part of it, too, is, hey, I'm used to being included in restaurants and having to say, can I have meat and potatoes, please? And everybody else is eating something different.
Yeah.
I just want to be there for the social aspect.
Yes.
I can always find something to eat. Or I'm a big girl, I can stick it out and then go eat something later. Like, it's... Yeah. There's ways around it, but, like, the love languages for me would be, that act of service is, like, the inclusion aspect. And just... It's so interesting that a societal thing is we can't invite her, she's on a diet.
Yeah.
And not saying that my classmates.
No, but, like, you and I have experienced, like, we've heard client stories.
Yeah, and I'm, like, talking about this from, like, years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I remember when I was in college and I would do diets. And, like, I was lucky enough. Like, I was very blessed with very good quality friends. Is they would say something like, hey, man, we're going to go get pizza. Like, do you want to come with us? I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. Yeah. And this is my perspective, so in no way is it how everybody else has to be. If I can't have something, I would prefer that the people around me just do whatever they normally would do. So if they normally have pizza, then have pizza. If you normally don't have pizza, don't have pizza. But I don't want people to behave differently just because I'm there.
100% accurate.
Yeah, yes. But I have been around people
Completely.
who, if they couldn't eat something, they expected you not to eat it.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I was like, I didn't know that because they didn't communicate it.
That's
interesting. And that's not my natural reaction. So I would have looked like a jerk for eating the thing that they couldn't eat. But I'm like, well, number one, you never told me. Number two, that's not my default setting. My default setting is you do you, me do me.
Yeah.
So then whenever they were mad at me, I was totally oblivious to the fact that was
Was
something
his
you would see.
girlfriend?
Yeah, maybe.
Girls do that.
And I was just surprised, and it shook me. Like, I was surprised, and I was like, oh, okay, well, now that I know, never did it again.
Right.
But at first, I was like, dang, I didn't know that.
It's the same thing where you see, like, girls and couples, it's, well, I want this, but I'm not going to eat it if you don't eat it.
Oh, that typical, like, do you want to go get ice cream? And he's like, no. And then, like, well, I'm not going to have it if you're not going to have it. It's like, well, what the hell? Just have it if you want
ice cream. Eat the freaking ice cream.
Well, I don't have to eat ice cream for you to have ice cream if I didn't want ice cream in the first place.
It's so weird. It reminds me there was a time I was studying in college on my futon in my dorm room.
Ooh, futon.
Yeah. And my girlfriend was in the room with me, and I was eating, I don't know, whatever, like those oatmeal cookies that are gluten-free, like maybe like a no-bake thing. Okay. But we were snacking on them and studying, and like I had enough, and so I closed the container and put it aside. And she got so mad, like not even in the moment. She didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks.
Oh, she gave you the silent treatment.
She was passive aggressive, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like,
what? Where did our friendship go? Whatever.
And all of a sudden, she was like, "You called me fat." I said, "There was no such day ever." What are you talking about? You closed the cookies, and I was seriously say, "Excuse me, I wasn't done," because that was very rude of me to also not ask and say, "Are you finished?"
That's interesting. Yeah.
Like. Shame on me, but wow.
But yeah, like it's also like
holy crap.
It didn't need to be bigger than that.
But like this is how emotional people are with like
people get fired up on stuff, yeah. But I think that's interesting is I would assume that the listeners, if they've done any diet ever, they'll have an experience similar to like that. I know
it's like almost impossible not to.
One of my clients, she ripped her husband a new one time because she came home and he was eating a Reese's cup, and they got in a big fight, and she didn't talk to him, and like he didn't come to the gym for a week, and I was like,
over Reese's cup?
Oh yeah, because she was dieting,
so he couldn't eat the Reese's cup.
He should not have been eating a Reese's cup, and he was like. Well, I remember talking to him afterwards because like a week, like till I saw him, and he goes, "Dude, like," he's like, "I don't know. I was just in a gas station. I saw it, so I bought it, and I was eating it. I didn't know it was going to cause like Armageddon." Like he was floored. So I told the client, I was like, "You got to realize you're making a choice that's your life.
That's your choice.
Like you're choosing what to eat. You don't then get to tell other people what to eat. Like, so I would understand if you wanted your husband to not do it in front of you." That's one thing, but to judge him without communicating that to him is pretty rough. Like you got to talk to him first.
You got to.
And she's like, "Well, he should just know
no,
not to bring
bullshit.
that stuff home."
That's bullshit.
And it's like clearly he didn't. Yeah. Oh,
anytime anybody, they should just know.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Well, actually, do the opposite of shut up. Go talk to him. Communicate. Tell them what they should know.
Stop saying that. Go talk about other things.
Yes, but no, like that's like. It's not uncommon, especially as a trainer.
I mean,
we hear this stuff all the time.
You're trying to reach 300 pounds and I'm trying to shrink.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if I got mad at you for eating 3 times as much as I do?
I'd be taking a Daisy to like a Taco Bell. Like I'd be like, "We're going for a walk and be back in 3 hours." Yeah. He'd be like, "Where in the world are you guys going?" Yeah. Yeah, I'd come back smelling like pizza or something.
She'd come back covered in cheese.
Yeah, she'd love it.
Yeah.
I'd have to get a skateboard for her to drag me. Otherwise, we'd be burning all the calories walking back.
Oh,
yeah, but that is a good example. Like, I'm actually eating to gain weight, you're eating to lose weight. And
I make sure you eat enough.
Neither one of us calories. Like, I'll help you prepare your food.
That's your goal.
Stuff.
I have a goal.
Yeah.
People are interesting.
It is tough. Like, it's tough because in her mind, she would have felt unsupported.
Yeah, you can't unwind it.
And like she would be like, "You're not supporting me," and that's why like there would have been such an aggression to it. And in his mind, he's just eating a Reese's. Like it was just, I was trying for a Reese's. There was Reese's, so I ate the Reese's.
I feel like that's Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "I didn't put the Reese's cup in your mouth while you were sleeping."
Yeah.
So.
Yes. But it is challenging without like healthy communication. that tends to make things more hard in life.
Yeah, everything boils down to communication.
Yes, yeah. That's funny.
What were we even talking about?
We were talking about the exclusion, the assumed
Assumed
exclusion
exclusion.
thing. So if somebody has a friend who's dieting, should you invite them out to dinner?
Yeah.
My answer would be is to ask them what their opinion of that
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But probably not like in that, like, hey, we're going to dinner in 15 minutes. You want to go? I wasn't sure if you really want to go or not, because that's high pressure.
Yeah.
So I would maybe, ask them a day ahead of time. And then if they choose not to, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm really having struggle with the diet, I don't really think I could do that, then find non-food things to go do. So still find a way to include your friend.
Yeah.
Because your friend still wants to be friends.
Yeah.
Just find a non-food way to do it, and that can help a lot.
Yeah.
To where they feel included. It continues the friendship.
Yeah.
So
like net have the conversation.
yeah, I think just communicate.
Don't assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, that was a fun little side rant.
What other questions did you have?
That was actually to cover everything this week.
Oh.
Because Miami was basically the whole week.
It was basically school.
Yeah, it
and
was
fitting
school
food
from
around.
6 a.m. till
Yeah.
midnight.
But
yeah.
I wore my pedometer.
Yeah.
Which someone didn't know what a pedometer was.
Oh, yeah, that's old school.
And
Yeah.
I was like, well,
It's like your Apple Watch.
It's a Whoop band or an Apple Watch.
Without any of the other
Without
stuff.
the rest of the things.
Yeah. It's like when like we have cell phones.
Yeah.
Like I have a cell phone. The least thing I do on it is call anyone with it. Actually, my voicemail is full right now, so no one can even leave a message.
This is true.
Because I hate just I don't like all calls and like yes. If somebody needs me, they can text me or they can
please.
like email
Doesn't your
me.
voicemail say text me?
Yeah, it says
says,
if
"Don't
this is
leave a
important, don't leave a voicemail because I won't listen to it. So I literally say that. And I think I have like
And
18
yet you have
voicemails.
You have a full voicemail.
Yeah, I'm a worst business owner ever.
No, because it's not even business. You know what? It's people that don't. It goes back to this is what I like. So I'm going to do
true.
this for that person, even
Yeah.
if that person is asking for the opposite.
Yeah. Well, you know what my phone, like I haven't had the sound on my phone probably since the year we met, 2019. Because I haven't had phones. So, because I get like 20, 30 phone calls a day.
Yes,
And
business owner.
so, which is why I just don't care anymore.
Obscene. You
Yeah.
left it on once. I forget why. We're waiting for
Probably some kind of
a call.
emergency or something, yeah.
Yeah, and I went, oh my god,
Yeah.
I might lose it.
Yes.
I get it now.
Yeah, 99.9% of the time I have no sound on my phone because otherwise it drives you insane.
Yeah,
Yes, I have all the notifications turned off except for you.
thank you.
Yes. So anything you send me comes up. Everybody else, sorry to clients. But no, because there's just too many. Like, so I have times in the day that I check everybody's
People
messages.
priority list, so you
Yes.
do go through and you
So
check.
I do. Yeah, I have, this is funny. I have you as a special category. I have all my clients as another category. And then everyone else doesn't have a category. But those categories get different levels of notification permission.
That's cool.
Yes. So if clients send me like a double message, it comes through.
Yeah.
So there's like all these little tricks and things. But I've tried my best to not
That's
let
good.
my phone run me.
That's boundaries.
Yeah.
That's just boundaries for life that help keep you
Mm-hmm.
sane, put you first. You understand, okay, these are the emergencies, these are my priorities, this is what I'm going to focus on. Otherwise, you go through, you could, like we were just thinking about, a whole year past of school.
Yeah. Oh,
a
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
A year past of work. Like, the days are so fast. Like,
Time is scary fast.
it is so scary fast that you
Yes.
have to be so intentional, and it's like somehow more relevant now than
Well, I think so much so because like now you have more distractions and more things. So whenever you were growing up, like I didn't have a cell phone till I think I went to college. Like
Yeah.
so
when I was driving.
when I was 15, 16, it was fun because I lived a half mile from the school and we had a very social house. So like sometimes I would come home and there would be like 2 or 3 friends just sitting in the driveway
Waiting
after
for you?
school. And like, hey man, you want to go like play dodgeball on the trampoline? I'm like, hell yeah. So it was just fun. And then we would, on days they weren't there, I would just go do my own stuff. Or I'd call them on a house phone. A house phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like then it was the chance to be interrupted in what you're doing might be random once an hour.
Yeah.
Right? Like how many things can interrupt you?
Not much.
Now, I mean, good God, you could be interrupted every second of the day if you wanted to.
If
you
you
had all
let
your
it.
notifications on.
If you let it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that frequency of interruption makes time pass so much faster because we all know this is if you're sitting like waiting for something to cook, it can take forever. Then all of a sudden you check like, let me just check my email. Then all of a sudden 10 seconds later, what it feels like to you, you burned your food because it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So the perception of time, I believe, is going faster and faster because we have more and more things that keep our brain busy and or distract us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So now, with 17 weeks to go,
Yes.
a normal prep for some people, if they're near contest prep shape, is 16 weeks.
Yeah, 16 weeks is actually a relatively average.
So, like, we're getting there. We had
Yeah.
to, like, re-baseline my metabolism, lost some weight, got moving again, started to develop better habits. So now we're, like, starting from a good starting.
Yeah, we have all the foundation built. Yeah. So right now you're eating around 2,050 calories. We're moving most days of the week. Like we've been doing our pedometer, and you've actually been over 10,000 on
Sometimes.
a good bit of days.
Yeah.
5 seems like a no-brainer anymore.
Yeah, 2,050 calories is a cut from, what, 25?
2,400 when we
2,400?
started. Yeah. So we started 2,400. We dropped down to 2,050, and we started with no pedometer counting, and that was pre-dog.
Yeah,
Now we've been pedometer counting, and you've been easy 5,000 plus every day.
Yeah.
So we know that our pedometer steps have gone up from where they were, and now that's a consistent element that we can modify.
Yep.
Our calories went from 2,400 to 2,050. That's a consistent thing we can modify, and our protein is at 31%. So I know I have a little bit of leeway there to play with.
Yeah.
And then training intensity. When you train, I make up our workouts every single time we do it.
Yeah.
Nothing's pre-written.
Yeah, someone asked me, like, I'd love to see your program, and I wanted, and I just kind of colloquial, like, sure, we're in passing.
Yeah.
And what I should have done was say, yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
He pointed to you.
Yeah, nothing's written down because I like seeing how you move every day and
Nothing's
justify
written.
adjusting based on how you're feeling.
Yep.
So our typical workouts are going to be, let's see, 5, 10, 15, around 15 hard sets. So 15 hard sets. And then we'll do that, 5, 6, 7 days a week. And then how I start modifying that is we know if we want to drive more fat loss, you have to use up more reserved energy. So you're either going to do that by eating less, so you force the reserve energy to be burned off via energy, or moving more, whether that's step count or lifting weights. So lifting weights is beneficial if you want to grow muscle tissue, but there's a capacity of lifting weights that once you reach it, you would actually cause like negative metabolic response or like joint issues, joint pain. You end up maxing out the person's recovery capacity. So therefore you can't load the muscle tissue and the connective tissues anymore. So that's when you do step counts.
Yeah.
So you start modifying step counts. So that's going to be the game we start to play is we can modify calorie, step count, and training intensity / volume. And then it's just each week we see the rate of your progression. If we need it to happen a little faster, we modify one of those based on how it's going. So say, for example, you feel stuffed at most of your meals and your hunger was fine, then we would have some room to drop in hunger.
Yeah.
But if you're like, dude, I am starving, I'm not going to take away calories. So we might bump up the intensity of the training a bit. We might modify your step count some. So it's having multiple elements to modify is what I enjoy because it just makes everything so much easier.
So much easier, because then you don't feel like what gets a lot of folks into, and I'll quote, trouble, is they have a plan A, B, C, D, E, and they feel like they have to do A, B, C, D, E every single day, or they're a failure.
Yeah.
And then, well, I can't do C, D, E, so I'm just going to skip today. Like they get into, and it's a very, very, very hard cycle to break if that's your habit.
Like if you can't have a perfect day, I just don't even care anymore.
Yeah. And
Like, what does it matter? Let me just eat everything in the pantry.
It seems like everyone has either experienced it or is going through it, or, I'm just not going to start because I can't be perfect with it.
Oh, yeah, that's, oof. I always hear that because people are like, well, I'll just do it when life calms down. Life never calms down. You go through swings and sways in life. So when people think that life is normal, you're actually just in a transition from one abnormality to another abnormality. There isn't actually a sustained normal in life. So I would definitely encourage people never to wait till life is calm or normal, because that's false. That's just a false moment.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Yeah, it's a fleeting moment. You'll always be chasing that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So this week we're going to weigh in tomorrow.
Yep.
See where we're at. And then we talked about the 3 elements we have now to play with. So that's calories, step count, and training.
And so this week, what is your vision for this week for me?
Depending on the weight, I would assume your weight went down because we ate well, and we actually might have even under-eaten. So that's going to cause a little bit less water retention, so the weight will be down just from simply less water retention. I don't want to adjust food. I'm not a big fan of adjusting food after someone had an abnormality, so they went on a weekend trip.
Yeah, no,
or they went for a week.
We'll go back to consistent. And
because you're adjusting basically the metabolism and the rate in which the body shifts metabolism. It doesn't happen within hours. It takes time, so maybe a week or 2 weeks or so. But if you just went from a week where everything's a little unknown, I like getting back to establishing the known entity first.
And then
see how the body responds and then adjust.
I'd
be very unlikely to adjust food after we had something that felt slightly off.
Yeah.
So I'd be changing step count, which I think your step count's actually going to go back up.
It will.
Because we'll have Daisy and you'll be back in regular life. So you're actually going to get an increased deficit this week just due to the step count going up.
Yeah.
So I won't need to modify food. I don't need to modify training. So we'll see how your body responds this week going back to normal food and with the step count going up. And then next week, once that normalizes, we'll see what element to modify from there.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think that's
fun journey.
Everything we want to talk about. Yeah. And then if people want to learn more about this journey, we're doing this basically every week, so they can check in on some of the older ones. We're going to start filming more and more workouts and putting those up on Instagram and YouTube. So if you follow the channel, if you find us at all on those things, please follow us. The more followers the social media channels have, the more reach there is, so the potential to help more people. And then if you have any questions, if you want to know anything else about what we're doing, you can visit our website, www.brutalirongym.com. We have our podcast player there, so you can always find our latest episodes. You can find the different services we have. We have free training information, free nutrition information. A lot of free programs are on the website as well. There's tons of good stuff. So if you want anything, check it out on the website. And you can also send us a message on the bottom of the homepage if you have any requests or questions. Awesome. Cool. Okay, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And then, as always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.